Welcome back to our second session on Indian knowledge system. In our first session, we discussed about the first category of Indian knowledge system, which is called as shruthi. Now the second part, smriti, can be considered as a collection of theses written by great saints over a period of time. Vedas in shruti gives us the purpose of life. It defines the basic principles to be followed on this earth. Now in today's scenario, you can consider Vedas and Shruti as the basic Android system or iOS system installed on a smartphone. It defines a basic platform for users and also for developers who wants to build new apps for this platform. Now you have apps like Uber, Facebook, WhatsApp, which are developed by various developers to provide specific services in various fields. Similar to these apps developed on the Android and iOS platforms, many Vedic sages developed various theories about life and published it. And the collection of these theories, the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store for various life theories is what we can call as Smrithi. So Shruti is the basic Android or iOS platform, whereas Smriti we can consider it to be the Play Store or the App Store where you get the various theories developed on this platform by various saints or sages. The biggest misconception about this learning system is that some of the theories put forth in the Smriti is misunderstood to be inhuman and not practical in today's life. Some of such examples are the practice of sati, practice of caste system, child marriage, animal sacrifice, and basically these concepts are the perceptions of a few saints under some discrete circumstances, and it has nothing to do with the actual Shruti or Vedas. For example, on Google Play Store or iOS app, if you find an app not suitable, you are not going to throw away the phone. We will just uninstall the app that we are not happy, and we will focus on the thousands of useful apps we have on the phone platform. Similarly, if you find any concept in Smriti as bad, inhuman, or not relevant to your lifestyle, saying that the entire Vedic system is bad, it's like throwing away your iPhone or Android phone just because you have one or two bad apps in the Play Store. So here, just like you have the freedom to use and discard any apps on an Android or iPhone based on your requirements, even in Vedic learning, you have the choice to choose any concept of Smriti that suits your lifestyle. And you can neglect or disregard any concept here, as there are just theses put by saints and not defined directly by God or Vedas. So you have to first remove the misconception that Smriti is a set of rules that needs to be followed by everyone. It is just a suggestion made by great saints and scholars, and you have all the rights to choose the best system of Smriti that suits your lifestyle. To give you a simple example, there is a thesis paper or a particular Smriti which is called as Vishnu Smriti. Again here, the author of this Smriti is unknown. Here, the author has visualized our earth as a planet which is struck completely under water. And then Vishnu arrives and lifts some of the land above the water where life can evolve. When Vishnu creates Prithvi or land from seas, the god of land, Bhudevi or Prithvi, is very happy, and she thanks Vishnu for helping to establish the land. And then she asks Vishnu about who is going to protect her in future. Then Vishnu says she will be protected by the set of rules he is going to define in Vishnu Smriti to be followed by every human to conserve earth and nature. This particular thesis is presented by one of the Muni who is unknown, and it is documented in Smriti as Vishnu Smriti. Then there is one more Muni or Maharshi by name Harita. He classified human life into three stages called as Brahmacharya, Grihastha and Vanaprastha, and has defined a set of rules to be followed in each stage of life. This thesis of Harita is called as Harita Smriti. Then there is one more great sage called Vashishta. He has done a deep analysis of human digestive system and he has submitted his thesis or papers on how humans have to consume food. The world's first ever documented thesis on digestive system is presented as Vashishta Smriti. He again has set a few rules on how humans should consume food and lifestyle they have to follow to have a good digestive system and health. Then there was a hunter called Stapata. In those days, the main source of food for humans were hunting. And he has established his own thesis about how to maintain the ecosystem of this earth while hunting. He has discussed for the first time about poultry, fishing and other forms of animal husbandry formats to be followed to humans so that no animal on this planet becomes extinct due to hunting them down from humans and other carnivorous animals. Stapata Smriti is all about maintaining the balance in the ecosystem. There was another Muni who was interested in shapes and drawings. He was Katyayana. He defined sine theta, cos theta, angle and all theories of trigonometry in his thesis of Smriti, which is called as the Katyayana Smriti. Here, he has set a few rules and theorems about trigonometry. Then there was a Muni called Gautama, who is the symbol of wisdom. He was the first to define judicial system in humans. In 2400 BC, that is almost around 4600 years ago, he formulated a rule book and constitution to be followed by humans. He also defined various sins and crimes and also punishment man will receive for those sins. This entire Smriti by Gautama Muni is all about Nyaya Shastra. It teaches humans about how to use logic when you are asked to settle disputes and how to decide and give judgments. This is all about the judicial system. Then there was another Muni called Parasara. He defined the rules to be followed during various rituals, like what all rituals has to be done during a marriage, what all process and ritual has to be done when someone dies. And this thesis of rituals was presented by Muni Parasara and it is called as Parasara Smriti. Parasara Muni's son was Maharshi Vedavyasa. He presented his thesis where he described humans are the rarest species who are not all the same. All dogs have the same lifestyle. All lions are same. All tigers are same. But no two humans are never same. And the existence of humans lies in his unique identity of what he is and what you are. So he defined the theory of every individual has the right to follow his own passion and dreams. And he was the first to formulate the rights every humans have, while most of the Smriti focused only on duties. He also formulated the theory of love and redefined male and female relationship from being just a sexual process like animals to a beautiful experience of love. Smriti of Vedavyasa introduced love and human emotion, and he was the first who authored the world's first love story through Srinivasa Kalyana in his Puranams. He presented the basic concept about love in a Smriti called Vyasa Smriti. So basically under Smriti, we have 18 most popular Smritis available, and in it, apart from what we discussed, Vishnu Smriti, Harita Smriti, Vashishta Smriti, Stapata Smriti, Katyayana, Gautama, Parasara and Vyasa, which we have discussed till now, we have Atri, Ausanasi, Angirasa, Yama, Apastamba, Samvarta, Bruhaspati, Sanka, Likita and Daksha Smritis. So the much publicized negative concepts in Smriti like sati, caste, child marriage, animal sacrifice, etc. were not actually the practices of a vast majority of our land. And it was limited to a few groups of human races, and Smriti is a vast collection of nearing 30,000 shlokas and verses. And in it, focusing on a few wrong concepts projected in a few shlokas cannot make anyone declare that the entire 30,000 Smriti shlokas are wrong. Love, geometry, trigonometry, animal husbandry, farming, fishing, judicial system, all were a part of this Smriti thesis. And we need to focus more on this excellent concept that were developed by the analysis of Vedas in Shruthi. Smriti actually are the theses presented by various researchers who are called as Munis or Maharshis. And we have the liberty to choose which is best suited to our lifestyle and to fulfill our passion and dreams in life. So now we have completed two sections of Indian knowledge system, Shruti and Smriti. Shruti is all about principles and concepts defined by God in Vedas. Analysis of this set of principles and formulating rules and regulation, rights and duties is done in Smriti. And this is done by various Munis and Maharshis. Now anyone who has the patience, ability and the thirst to understand Vedas, they can analyze it with the four perspectives using Upavedas and Vedangas, and based on his experience can formulate his own Smriti or thesis. People who researched and presented their own Smriti are like Buddha. His Smriti is again based on Vedas, but his rule book is called as Buddhism. Then 24 great scientists analyzed these Vedas, Vedangas, Upavedas, and they formulated their own set of rule book or Smriti, and this Smriti is what we call as Jainism. Then we had another great saint, Shankaracharya. He prescribed his own thoughts about Veda and proposed a new concept of Advaita. This again was documented in Smriti as Advaita philosophy. Later, another great saint, Madhvacharya, studied Vedas from four perspectives and proposed his ideology of Dvaita, and it is documented in Smriti as Madhva philosophy or Dvaita philosophy. Then another saint, Ramanujacharya, studied these Vedas from the four perspectives and proposed his own theory of life called as Vishishtadvaita. And this again is documented in the rule book of Smriti under the ideology of Vishishtadvaita. Then the recent scholar to formulate his own Smriti was Basaveshwara from South Indian state of Karnataka. He analyzed and studied Vedas, Vedangas and Upavedas. He was inspired by the theory of five great Munis or Maharshis called as Renukacharya, Darukacharya, Ekorama, Panditaradhya and Vishveshwara, and also from the disciple of Renukacharya who is Muni Agastya. And all these saints formulated a new set of rule book in Smriti which was called as Veerashaivam. Basaveshwara was inspired by this Veerashaivam principle and with his own thesis added to it, he then formulated his own set of rules and Smriti. And the people who followed this set of Smriti or rules were called as Lingayats. So Vedic system of education is not about any religion, caste or community. This is an education system. Veda is not a religion. Veda is a university where anyone can come and research the Vedic scriptures through the four perspective of Aranyaka, Brahmana, Samhita and Upanishad, and he can formulate his own life rules, taking tips from the 18 Smritis, and his formulated rule book will be another research material for others, and it will be documented under Smriti. For example, in India, we have democracy. We have parliament, two houses, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. We have member of parliament, member of legislature, and this entire Indian constitution is said to be mostly inspired by the British constitution. And everyone thinks that this democratic system started in Britain with House of Lords and House of Commons. Well, this system of dividing a land into constituencies, asking people to elect their own head from their constituency and send them to a house where administration will be carried out, was first designed and formulated by Basaveshwara in his kingdom in 12th century. He divided his kingdom into small areas, and from every area, people choose their representative who were called as Sharanaru. All these Sharanaru assembled in a parliament called Anubhava Mantapa and took decisions and formulated rules and attended to people grievances. This system of Basavanna, which was inspired by our Indian knowledge system, was then studied by the British, and they reframed it and introduced it in Britain in 17th century. As a mark of respect to Basavanna and his inspiration to democratic system, the statue of Basavanna can be found on the banks of river Thames even today. So, Indian knowledge system through Smriti inspired Veerashaiva, which in turn inspired Basavanna to formulate Anubhava Mantapa, and this inspired British. And since our constitution is based on the British system, we can easily understand that the constitution of India and our democratic system has its root in our Indian knowledge system. With this, we conclude our second category of Indian knowledge system, Smriti. And let us continue with our next category from our next session. Thank you.